everyone. So for today's video, I am going to be recreating Jamie Paige's everyday makeup routine. So she posted this video a few weeks ago and I was re-watching it the other day, and towards the end she's like, let me know if you decide to recreate this. And I thought, you know what? I want to recreate this look because the look is so soft, but it also has that level of glam and flawlessness to it. So I was really interested in seeing how I could recreate it on myself. So that's what we did today. This is the completed look, not to give you a spoiler at the beginning of the video, but I do really love it. And a lot of the techniques she uses in this video are techniques I'm definitely going to revisit. So not only was this a fun video to watch and to recreate, but I learned a lot. And that's really why I like Jamie's content. She's very smart. She's been doing this for a long time. So I really respect her in that regards. If you guys are excited about today's video, please make sure to give this a thumbs up. And if you like me, I'd love to have you back. So make sure to subscribe as well. And with all of that, let's get on into it. Okay, first we're starting off with skin prep, and skin prep has always meant a lot to Jamie, and we're very similar in that way. I just feel like if I don't really take care of my skin and moisturize it and get it to a good spot, makeup just does not lay the same on top of it. So she did use a peptide moisturizer from Skin Fix. I'm actually kind of interested in that moisturizer, but today I'm going to be using my Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream. This has been my go-to moisturizer recently. I'm just really going to massage that into my skin. I know this is stupid, but I do feel like I need to apologize for this huge pimple. And I know it's stupid to apologize for a pimple, but I just feel like I also should acknowledge it. I'm just working this into my skin, and this is a really good moisturizer if you like a really supple and bouncy base. It looks really good under makeup as well, and that's something that Jamie was talking about, that you really want a moisturizer that looks great under makeup. The next step that she does is something that is so interesting to me. It's something that she learned from Harush here on YouTube. So you take a little bit of your moisturizer and then you mix it in with your foundation. Now, I usually do this with facial oil, but I think it's a really cool idea to kind of mix it into a foundation. So Jamie is using the Rare Beauty foundation, which I do have, and I've been meaning to give it another try. I'm shade 140C, so I'm just going to take some onto the back of my hand, and then we will work it into the skin with a brush. This was a foundation that I felt like really picked up my texture when I wore it. So I'm interested in seeing how it's going to look with this moisturizer mixed in. So I'm just using a stipple brush to kind of stipple into my skin, and then I'll use a beauty blender just to get any edges. Yeah, right now, so far so good. Everything looks really blended. This is a really good shade match for me. It's pretty freaking spot on, which a good shade match can really be like a make or break for a foundation for me. Guys, Jamie was one of the first YouTubers that I ever watched on YouTube. Back in 2016, when I wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I finally did, I really took a lot of cues from these YouTubers that I had been watching for a really long time. I just have a lot of respect for her and the way she does reviews, her style. I think we tend to talk a lot about how some creators have influenced purchases and, oh, I really like this foundation they recommended, etc. But I think it's really cool to take an entire routine and play around with it and see how it works for you. Because it's really not just about the products, it's really about the technique. So I am super interested to see how all of this comes together. Honestly, the foundation looks pretty good. The only area where it's a little bit dry is around this pimple that's pretty dry on its own. Now we're going in with concealer, and she likes to use a little bit of a brightening concealer. My favorite concealer in general is the Maybelline Fit Me. I also really like the Kosas Revealer concealer, and this one is a little bit more brightening, so I'm gonna go in with this one. She did use a combination of the Rare Beauty concealer that she really likes, and then she also used the NARS Radiant Creamy for a little bit of brightening. So I'm going to use the Kosas to brighten my under eyes. She also puts a little bit down her nose, which I don't really do much brightening or contouring or anything on my nose. So I'm really interested in seeing how this looks on me. Get a little bit of the redness around my nose. First, blending in this concealer around here. You know what's crazy? Even brightening like down my nose right here, I'm like, damn. I can see like in the monitor, like it kind of makes a difference, doesn't it? I'm going to just blend this out. All right, so the base is all down. I'm feeling much better. I really, really like the way this looks. I really like that technique of adding the moisturizer that you plan on applying in your skincare routine and then mixing that in with the foundation. All right, so now she does some cream bronzing. So she uses the Cheeks Out bronzer, and my favorite shade is Butta Biscuit. She uses Macchiato, and I'm just going to apply bronzer as she is doing. She tends to put it a little bit higher up on the cheekbone, which is what I do, so I am happy to see that. She kind of takes a little bit on either side of her nose, just like that. I hope this turns out okay, because I don't do this. No idea how to contour my nose, but you know, see what happens. And then she just taps it in on the sides. Am I doing this right? Trying to make it look as natural as possible. I really don't want this to just look like a stripe on my nose. So wish me luck. I can't tell if maybe I'll add like a little bit more concealer in the middle to like really emphasize it a little bit more. I think I need to work on the technique, and I don't know how it looks on camera. Like it could look like crap, but I think it looks kind of good. There you go, Amanda. Next, let's go into bronzing onto the face. I'm just taking it onto a sponge and getting this dog hair off the sponge. Again, she does it more high up onto the cheekbones, which I also do as well. So just patting that in. This is such an easy bronzer to work with because it's just really, really blendable. It's buildable and it's blendable. So it makes for cream bronzing application super easy. I think that looks really nice. It looks natural. This shade is really good too if you have more fair skin like I do. There's the cream bronzer down, and now what she does is she goes in with a powder bronzer on top to kind of set everything. She uses NARS Laguna, but I really like the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is the original shade. So here goes nothing. I haven't done this in a while, so hopefully it looks seamless. I'm just going in with a little bit just to set it, like she mentioned. I didn't really cream bronze my forehead that much, which is fine. I can just use the powder, but just slowly setting that. I really like the way that she describes this makeup look. It's everyday, but just turned up a little bit, just like with a touch of glam. I feel like it also really makes a big difference for me right now to just look in the mirror and feel a little bit more put together and a little bit more glam. Jamie also just takes a little bit more and just kind of puts it right where she wants a touch more definition. And this is also a really good trick too if you find that your bronzer doesn't last as long, because this will kind of act as a setting powder to really lock it in. Next we have blush, and she uses one of my favorite formulas, which is the Cosmetics Colordrop's Serum Blush, and this is the shade Soft Amethyst. I haven't used this shade in a while, so I'm really excited to give it another go. A little bit on the back of my hand, and we will just tap that in. That color makes me such a happy camper. Jamie also made a really good point that this is looks really, really deep in the actual container, and you can get that really rich and deep color, but you can also sheer it out to what it looks like right now, and it looks really, really beautiful. Okay, so now we go into powder, and powder is really important in, you know, increasing the longevity of makeup. She is also similar to me in that we don't really like powder. We both have dry skin, so, you know, powders just really aren't super ideal, but if you pick the right powder, it can really do wonders. So basically what she does is she uses a little bit more of a brightening powder under the eyes, and then around here where her mask is, she'll go in with a more pigmented product. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to first use my Wet n Wild pressed powder compact that is disgusting, and I'm going to put that, kind of just stamp it down here where my mask will touch. This is a really good pigment powder because it doesn't have too much pigment, but it does have a touch just so everything looks really seamless as well. And going into the under eyes, I don't have like a true brightening powder. So what I'm going to do is just use a little bit of my RCMA No Color powder. This is a translucent powder. And I'm just going to take a little bit onto this brush and really tap off the excess and put just a touch under my eyes. Just really not that much. You don't need a lot of powder. So yeah, I feel like we're in really, really good shape. It looks super seamless. It definitely gives coverage, but it's still not looking really heavy, which you guys know I like. But now we're going to set the makeup, and I'm using the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Glow. She uses the setting spray from Charlotte Tilbury, but I think this is going to give me, okay, don't talk and do this at the same time. I think this is going to give me a similar look. And she does this before she goes into the eyes so that her mascara doesn't run, which, let me tell you guys, I have definitely been a victim to that more than one time in my life. You know those days where you're just like, you're really drenching yourself in the setting spray, and then you're like, wait, you just have like this light bulb moment, you're like, shit. Look in the mirror, it's like you just watched The Notebook. So now jumping on into the eyebrows. So she uses the Micro-Fluff brow cream from Cosmetics, and I have mine in the shade Blonde. No, that's not the right shade. Brunette is my shade. So I haven't used this in a while. I'm a huge fan of the Flexi Brow Clear Brow Gel from Cosmetics. So let's give this another go. And I do wish that the brush was a little bit shorter, just because I feel like with my eyebrow hairs, because they're so long, which maybe not most people have as long of eyebrow hairs as I do, because I don't really do much to them, but it can be a little bit easier to control when it's a little bit shorter. But the color and the formula goes on really nicely into the brows. And here they are. I think the brows look really nice. They're very natural. This is a good color for me too because it's a little bit more of a soft brown. But now we are going to go into the eyes. And she used the Makeup by Mario palette. I'm going to be using the LORAC Pro palette. This has a lot of the similar tones that are in that palette, so it's going to be really easy for me to achieve a very similar look. I'm going to first use this cream shade up here. It's kind of like a white cream shade. Jamie mentions just to basically use a little bit more of a brightening shade on the lid just to give it some pop. So this shade is going to act as that kind of bright canvas for the lids. You guys, I haven't used this palette in so long because you guys know I'm a cream shadow person. So I'm interested in seeing what I think about it so many years later. I mean, this palette's probably like, let's go with 2 years old. More like 3. And next we're going to go in with a dark brown shade and do the little soft wing that she does. So I'm going to use the shade correctly named dark brown, and I am going to, I don't have the exact brush that she uses, but she does this really cool technique where she uses a little bit more of a flat brush and she only concentrates the product on half of the brush, and then she kind of just lays it down, and then it really easily creates that line. I think that's super smart. I do have this concealer brush from Laura Mercier that is not the same as her brush, and I think I'll have to use some other brushes to supplement. Also, you can see that Hank bit the fuck out of it, but I mean, we'll see if I can pull off this technique. I really want to try it. So yeah, only going in on one side of the brush with the dark brown, and then just laying it down. Getting a little bit of fallout. I forgot that LORAC shadows do have a little bit of fallout. I'm finding it easy to do this if I kind of tilt my head up like this and then put my mirror down so I can kind of see the shape that I want. And then I can build up the areas I want a little bit more pigment. So the wings definitely aren't perfect. And I totally agree, this is a lot easier than going in with a liner because you can really just blend it out and buff it out and no one will know if they weren't exactly the same at first, which mine are not. And now I'm going to do what she does, which is just take a little bit of a blending brush and really just go over that area and buff everything out so it looks a little bit softer. I'm gonna use this cool taupe shade just because the dark brown shade that she used was a little bit cooler. So I want to add just a little bit more of that cool undertone to the look. Just running this on the upper lid, very softly blending it out. Now you can go back in and intensify any of the areas you want to intensify. All right, so that's how it's looking. I really like the way it looks so far. And now I'm just going to use a little bit of this shadow up here, it's terracotta, and just put that on my lower lash line. Oh, that was a lot more than I was expecting. It's fine though. Can blend it out. Just gonna blend it out a little bit more. And next she uses the Benefit Roller Lash, which is a mascara I don't have, but I do have the Dior Iconic Overcurl, and this is also a curling mascara. And we will try and give our lashes a good lifted appearance. This is a really, really good mascara. It is expensive, but it is good. Like, look at that. Just fans out the lashes so prettily. May or may not have jabbed myself in the eye with this mascara though. So don't do that, but do you see how it's a really nice curled and volumized look, but it's not clumpy? That is what I look for in a mascara. So next she goes in with a lip liner. She uses one from M Cosmetics in the shade Kitten, and I don't have that one, but Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury is always a great go-to for me. And she actually does do a little bit of overlining, but honestly, with this pimple situation, I'm not gonna risk it. I'm just going to do my liner as I normally would. I'm super excited for the lip pick that she had. She did have a lipstick from Revlon in Sparkling Honey that looks really gorgeous, and I kind of want to get it now. Story of my life with her videos. But she also used the M Cosmetics lip cushion in Mystic, and I have been really wanting to play around with this shade, so that is what I'm going to use. Basically what she does is she applies it to the bottom lip, and then she kind of just like taps it around to give it a little bit more of like a blotted look. I'm also excited that she picked this one because my lips feeling a little bit dry today and I could definitely use some moisture. Here we go. So we just apply it and then pat it in. If you're worried about getting outside of your lip lines, you can also use a Q-tip to kind of do the same thing, except with a little bit more precision. And here we have the completed look. So you guys, I had high hopes for this, but this really turned out even better than I was expecting it to. The skin looks so flawless, but it doesn't look really heavy. The only area it looks a touch heavy is where that freaking pimple is, but other than that, it looks really, really smooth. I love, love, love the eye look. I know the colors aren't exact to what she had, but I really like the way that they look with this lip color and with the blush. This duo together with everything turned out really, really awesome. I had so much fun recreating this look. I will leave Jamie's channel down below. I know a lot of you guys already watch her, but I will leave her channel as well as the video. And yeah, so I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I would love for you to subscribe as well if you enjoyed it. So with all of that, you guys, I will see you in my next one.